30 dead, homes buried, families still feared trapped beneath tons of rubbish. A massive landfill collapsed after heavy rain in Guinea's capital, sending waves of waste and debris crashing into nearby homes. Authorities had already warned the dump was dangerous and planned to close it that very day. Now, rescuers are digging through the wreckage for survivors. West African country Guinea woke up to the devastating news of a massive landslide that tore through a landfill in the country's capital, Conakry. The disaster struck at around 2 a.m. local time on August 23rd at the Dar Es Salam landfill in the Gebessia commune. The landslide was preceded by heavy rain which caused a huge mound of rubbish to collapse. Landslide, Director General of the National Agency for the Management of Emergencies and Humanitarian Disasters, specified that the disaster has already claimed the lives of at least 30 people who were found beneath tons of waste and debris.
There are around 30 dead. The bodies have been taken to Donka Hospital and we now have 22 injured. So very early in the morning, the government mobilized all the government agencies, civil society, the Red Cross, first to search for people under the rubble.
He further added that rescue teams are now working through the wreckage with bulldozers, excavators and hand tools, searching for anyone who may still be trapped.
What we must be thankful for is that civil protection, together with our other services with the support of the government, we found people, many people under the rubble, first bringing out 22 people who are truly injured, some seriously and others slightly. That is what is important, but for the other bodies, the search continues.
Mamadouba Bangoura, a witness of the disastrous landslide, recounts the chain of events that followed after heavy rains poured through the city.
At 2 a.m., we were sleeping when we heard a loud noise. The first ones out, there were 4 or 5 people from the family who went out to see what had happened outside. They went out, suddenly we saw the first break, but the rubbish had not yet come this far. There were a lot of people outside to see what had happened. This time, the second wave of the landslide came. That is what knocked over, pushed the house, and it fell.
The scale of the tragedy has left rescuers searching through twisted metal, collapsed structures, and overturned vehicles. However, authorities had already flagged the possibility of a disaster in the area. The government announced plans to close the site and relocate the waste because of the threat it posed, especially during the ongoing rainy season. Moreover, the closure had been designated on the same Sunday as the landslide. But the tragedy could not be prevented as many people were still living nearby when the landslide struck. Local activist Abou Hamza accused authorities of failing to act quickly enough, despite being aware of the extent of danger the location holds.
We organized sit-ins, we invited the officials from the relevant departments, but they didn't take it seriously. So that's why today, with this landslide, I blame the state, because it didn't take the necessary measures to have the dump closed. And yet they had promised us that. It's been a year now.
And now the locals are facing the devastating consequences of the incident.
There have already been more than 21 or 22 bodies that we have been able to pull out of the rubbish. There are many more because there were a lot of people. And we saw cases. It is very, very difficult to talk about it, because seeing a human being lose their life like that is pathetic. It is so painful.
While Guinea is rich in natural resources, including some of the world's largest bauxite reserves and major iron ore deposits, it also faces widespread poverty and weak infrastructure, leaving many communities vulnerable, especially when extreme weather hits. For the families living around Dar es Salam, the landfill was not simply a waste site. It was part of the landscape they lived beside every day. Now, rescuers are racing against time, digging through tons of rubbish in the hope of finding more survivors while recovering the bodies of those who did not make it out.
la tege na sotori la tege belebele muya zula birin siga de la be nga bara yala ga fori na nyibe ma ko len se sera ba mala ira soro mutala wa ibiragi dibe luge bore na ni matangara e bara fagato to dangire e fe gili kwara kombo sina yoge nan fari afa yi pousser e tazi pousser yoge fama sone e ma ko le siga makira yora soro e ga bore ga locataire na makata ba kere yatara makata e lugu na lan ku yoge na siga na kore fam pousser mire na na kore na ne na de e taram furera te feki yenam fa tunena yoge nam fari machine na yoge pousser goro machine na pousser machine agir wala ne ha kwera soro musa fo mutama yoge fama tune fama soro yoge kasare saba petit mini na magamera kanta abara siga agire bara siga ni mo bara siga di dunia la be ga bara fo
Sangi sabale nensi no bona nse ndimina nyangara tole dengele men kora akora ka brasa sheru o brasa sheru ka den tan filato atado ka men fanasa no ka den loluto den tan yeli wore o be ta le bulale ke wo balo le te wula lo ko sara la le ya ko be sara la aya fa man ka sange nyenya mana mbala makini kini bisi sana tembolo amademe
Pour le moment, on ne pourra pas donner de bilan. On laisse les recherches suivre son cours normal et après les recherches, on fera place maintenant au bilan. C'est trop tôt de donner un bilan. Mais les recherches continuent.